My name is Jermaine Brown, for those who don't know me. Let me give you a little bit about my background. I own one rental property in North Carolina. And as we can hear the horror stories here today on owning properties, I also have my own horror story with it. Basically, constantly having to replace tenants because for non-payment of rent. And so we've got to deal with a lot of evictions. It's a pain in the neck. Then you got to fix up the property and then relist it, things of that nature. And I thought I had it down until I heard some of the stories here, you know, especially with the squatter. So, you know, I mean, I still like real estate, and what I'm about to teach today, it is not to say stocks is a better investment than real estate, or real estate is a better investment than stocks. I believe you can do both. And, but I'm just coming with a different perspective. Now, before I get started with it, let me ask this group this. I don't want you to be answered, Stacy, and I also don't want you to be answered. What is cash flow? Don't answer. Don't answer.
I don't know.
Anything. What is cash flow?
Income minus expenses minus your debt. That's your plan.
Is it? Do everybody agree with it?
Sounds good.
That's what he said.
Income minus expenses minus your debt.
You agree? Right. What if I told you that's not true? If you talk to a professional investor and they ask you that question, what is cash flow? Here's the actual definition. If you look it up, it's just the flow of cash. In and out. Do you have a dollar on you? Can I see it? Thank you. Where did the cash flow from? To who? To me. Right? Was that positive or negative? For who? Oh, okay. But there is a such thing as negative cash flow.
Yeah, I'm negative right now.
Right. You're negative right now. Why are you negative?
Because I gave you for no services.
Oh, okay. But so anytime money leaves your pocket, you feel negative, right? So it's just to show that cash flow is just positive and negative. There's no such thing as, you know, because the reason why I asked this question is because to get into the lesson, you know, it is taught here that we look for positive cash flow investments, right? And the type of investing that I do is very much positive cash flow investing. Next question. What is the best business tomorrow? What is the best type of business tomorrow? Anybody know this? Not anybody can answer this except for him and you. What is the best business tomorrow?
Drug business.
Drug business. Let me rephrase that. What is the best legal business tomorrow?
Oh, you didn't say that.
Well, yeah. Big pharma.
That's drug business. Big pharma.
Well, let me ask it this way. What's the most profitable business tomorrow?
Oil.
It depends.
What do you mean depends?
Yes.
Depends on what you're into. You know, like there's some people, I don't think who are robbing gold, diamond, real estate, stocks.
Okay. Well, in actuality, if you look it up, one of the most profitable businesses to own is insurance. Now, why is insurance one of the most profitable businesses to own?
People keep paying it.
Huh?
People just keep paying into it and they don't have to get a payout for a long time.
Say that louder.
So people pay into it and might not get paid out of it for 80 years.
They might get paid out of all.
Exactly. So in other words, do you own a car, Caesar? Yeah? Well, how long have you owned your car for? A while? How many, take a guess, how many years? 7, let's just say 10 years. How long have you been paying the insurance company for? Since you got the car. If you got a car, you need insurance. How many times has the insurance company paid you? Huh? Not once. You see why I say insurance companies is one of the most profitable businesses to own? Because why? You constantly pay the insurance company, which is a rate of cash flow. The insurance company receives that money and hardly ever has to pay out, which is positive cash flow for the insurance company. Well, what I'm going to teach you here is how to own your own insurance company. That's what I am in. I am in the insurance business. Now, what do I mean by that? I hope you all can see the screen. If not, you might have to come in a little bit more. Now, let me say this. I make more doing this, what I do, trading, than I make on my property, even assuming the tenant does pay the rent. I make about $150 a month, somewhere around that. Cash, positive cash flow. Let me state that. I make about $150 a month positive cash flow off my rental property when the tenant decides to pay the mortgage. However, what I do here, I can make that in a week. Two weeks. I can double what I make in a month in 2 weeks. With little stress, I don't have to worry about evicting people. I don't have to worry about taking people to court. I don't have to worry about chasing down people for my rent money. Okay? I don't have to worry about fixing up. I don't have to worry about any of that. Now, imagine for a second what an extra $30 to $200 or more a week or a month that you didn't have to work for sounds like. Just keep that in mind. $30 to $200 a week or more, $200 or more a week or a month sounds like. What can you do with that money? For you guys, you can take your girls out to eat. Someone else is paying for that. You can pay off your bills. You can help on the rent money when the tenant fails to pay the rent. Well, you can cover it, but someone else is paying for that. You can do whatever it is you want. Okay? It's possible to make anywhere from 0.5% to 2% a month trading, doing this type of trading. Okay? You can supplement and eventually replace your income. You can use it to go on vacation. It's your money. You can choose to use it any way you want. Let me explain. I'm an options trader. Before I tell you what an option is, let me explain to you in layman's terms what it is that I do. I am in the insurance business. Think of the insurance you pay on your vehicles. Why do you pay your insurance company every month? The obvious answer is to replace your vehicle or to cover the damages should you get into an accident. Now here's a question the average automobile driver never asks, people like yourself and me. Why does a company take on the risk of covering someone they do not know? Do your insurance company know you personally? What insurance company are you with? Geico. 15 minutes, we're switching to Geico. Okay? Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate, you know, all those little jingles, okay? The simple answer is the insurance company knows that they will collect far more in premiums than the claims they will have to pay out. It's just real simple. They're going to collect far more than what they got to pay out. That's the secret. As long as one doesn't file a claim within the first couple of years after getting the insurance, the insurance company wins. When you sign a contract with the company, that contract has certain rights and obligations. Okay. Here you pay monthly premiums to the insurance company, which gives you the right, but not the obligation to put your vehicle back to the insurance company in the event of total loss. In other words, let's say, Caesar, do you have, what make car do you have? Toyota. Let's say you take your Toyota, you go out, you're driving, you get into an accident, total loss. What happens? Okay, they're supposed to, if they cannot repair it, replace it with the actual value of the car, which means you have to now file the claim, right? What you're basically doing, let's just say it's a total loss, they cannot repair it. You're putting the vehicle that you damaged, that got into the accident, back to the insurance company. Now, because you've been paying them every month, they're obligated to cover that claim. You see how that works? By reimbursing you for another vehicle. Do everybody understand so far how that works? Okay? Because you have the right to put the car back to them. They are obligated to fulfill the terms of the agreement. Okay? The insurance company is obligated to cover the loss in such an event. Let's use an example. You bought a brand new vehicle for $40,000. Now, to protect your investment, you must get insurance for it. The insurance company is going to have to write you a policy where they will cover the vehicle, but you must pay a deductible on any claims you made, and you must make your monthly payments called a premium to the company. Now, assuming you don't file a claim for the first 3 to 5 years of the life of the policy, the insurance company is racking up a lot of money in premiums from your coverage. Also, you must keep in mind that you must renew your policy each and every year. So that means each year you have to get a new policy from them because it expires. Okay? Each year your policy expires. Okay? Keep all this in mind. Your policy expires. Okay? So in other words, you never file a claim in year 1 of ownership. When you renew your policy, they will no longer cover it for $40,000. The second year, they might cover it for $32,000, meaning that that's the current value of the car at the time of renewal, so on and so forth. Yet, look how much money you paid them in premiums. For example, say you pay the insurance company $300 a month in insurance on a new car. Not outrageous here in New York City. Then you forked over to the insurance company $3,600 a year. $300 times 12 months. The first year you own the car. Now for each year you own the car, assuming you don't get into any accidents, your premiums will eventually go down. However, the insurance company got a boatload of money off of you. In this example, a 5-year period, you could have paid upwards to $18,000 just for the protection of your vehicle. Writing put options. Writing put options allows you, this is what we did, where I told you that we would get to this. Writing put options allows you to achieve the same goal. Instead of insuring cars, houses, etc., we're insuring stocks. Okay, here's how it works. Let's say you like stock XYZ. XYZ is currently trading at $20 a share today. Let's say today it's at $20 a share. You could either go in the market and buy shares of XYZ at $20, or you can write a put option at $19. And if the stock XYZ goes below 19, you can buy it at that price minus the premiums you receive. And I will go into further explanation. In our hypothetical example, you wrote a November $19 put option on XYZ and you collected 50 cents. Okay? November is the month that this option expires. Okay? That's the expiration month. The $19 is what we call the strike price. That's the price where, as the insurer, the one who's writing the contract, I am obligating myself to buy that stock at $19. Now, currently it's at 20, but I am obligated to buy the stock at 19. So that means if it falls below $19, I have to cover for that drop in price. I have to buy it at 19. However, I received 50 cents. So how much am I really on the hook for stock XYZ? Anybody know? Huh? 1850. How did you get that? Exactly. So even though I am supposed to buy stock XYZ for $19, however, I received 50 cents up front. Okay? So I'm really obligated to buy it at $18.50. That's my cost basis. So as long as stock XYZ stays above $18.50 by November, I win. Okay? So now, there are three things that can happen to a stock. The stock can go up, it can stay sideways, and it can go down. If the stock goes from $20 to $21, I keep all 50 cents, the contract expires worthless. Because why? I'm obligated to buy it at what price? At 19. The stock didn't go to 19. It went up. So I make money in that example. The stock in November can be at $20. Do I still have to buy the stock?
No.
No. Why?
Because it's still above 19.
It's still above 19. The stock can even go down to 1950,
It's still above.
but it's still above 19. So, let's say the stock drops to 1875. What happens? I'm obligated. I got to buy the stock at what price?
19.
But how much did I pay for it?
50 cents.
Huh? How much did I pay for the stock?
50 cents share.
Huh? Not 1875.
Yeah.
Remember, how much did I collect originally?
50 cents.
Okay, now if I have to buy the stock at 19, how much am I really paying for the
Oh,
stock?
1850.
Yet the stock is at what price?
1975.
No, 1875.
Quarter.
So I still make a quarter profit, even though I still have to buy the stock. Now, now when I start losing is when the stock falls below 1850. That's when I start to incur losses. But there are a lot of other things that I can do. I can go to the market and say, Caesar, I sold you this contract that says, grab this paper, that says, you have the right to sell me your stock at 19, right? Okay. Let's say the stock falls to 1750. How much money am I losing? About $1. I could go back and say, I'm changing the agreement. Now, I'll insure it at $17. In other words, without even having to pay for it. Now, he has to pay me more money. for the new deal. But I just changed the agreement. I could do, there are a lot of things that I can do. But let's just say I really like the stock. I get the stock at $18.50, then I can write what's called covered calls, which means I can rent out my stock. Now, remember when I said I collected 50 cents?
Yeah.
It's 50 cents per share. Each option contract, because options selling contracts, each contract is 100 shares. So how much did I collect?
What was that, 1850, right? 18 and a quarter.
No. How much did I collect? 50 cents.
Per share.
That's how much I collect
Per share.
per share.
So that would be $50.
Exactly. So that means I made $50. $50 comes immediately into my account. Now, I don't own the shares yet because remember, the stock is at 20. I'm selling the $19 strike. Okay? See, that's the neat little trick to this. The stock is at 20, yet I'm agreeing to buy the stock at 19. So someone pays me money up front, 50 cents per share, for the right to sell me their stock at 19. Which means now I'm obligated to buy it at 19.
So are you out of pocket
No.
for that 18?
Oh, at 1850? Yes, I would. In that event, I have to have
I'm not
money.
loading out, I'm not loading off those stocks.
Say it again?
I'm not loading off those shares. That's the thing I don't do about that.
Well, just think of it this way. The market, okay, the broker will automatically sell me the stock if it falls below 19. In other words, it assigns the stock to me. And in that event, I have to have the money to cover that trade. So in other words, before I execute the trade, I have to have the money in the account. Okay? Just as a loaner. I'm just loaning the broker.
All right, so you have to be able to cover 100 shares at $20 a share.
At 19.
At 19. So
Right.
$19.
Really say 1850. I gotta have $1,850 because that's the price that I'm really buying the stock.
All right, so I go on Trade King, an option for $20 stock for $19, automatically I get $50.
Right.
That's the insurance.
Right.
At the end of the contract, whether it's
Right.
a week or a month,
Correct.
the stock goes down to $18.50.
Okay.
Then my account stays the same, and then I go back again and I create a new contract.
No. What I'm saying is the stock goes to 1850. You will get assigned the stock, which means now you have to buy the shares.
Okay.
And you're paying 1850. So that means you didn't make money, you didn't lose money. Because your cost basis was really 1850.
Okay.
So as long as the stock stays above 1850, you make money.
Now what if the stock goes to 21?
Then you don't get the shares, but you still keep the money.
I keep my $50.
Still keep your $50 and then you can write a new contract.
And then you could
So the deal is over after that.
Exactly.
Oh.
But then what about my coverage, my 1850 that's in it?
It is. That's your responsibility.
So now
Is
it's
the minute the
Then I
contract,
go make my, then I put out another contract to make another 50%.
then you're right.
So the contract is over as soon as the stock price changes?
No.
No, there's a contract
It's a
term.
thing.
When I said November,
I see.
the contract ends the third Friday in November.
So all this time that the stock goes up, goes down, you're losing or gaining money?
Exactly.
I see.
But come the third Friday of November, if the stock is above 19, the contract expires, and I get to do it all over again.
How much does it cost?
Huh?
How much does it
Depends
cost?
on how much you buy it for.
You have to pay someone.
I don't have to pay nothing.
No,
I just receive money.
No, but
if
she's
you went through
saying,
Trade King to do that contract, I think it's like 45 cents or something like that to do the contract.
Oh, commission.
Right.
Oh, you gotta pay commission, I'm sorry. Right.
But you also have to have the money to pay the stock if it comes.
If it should drop, right, you have to have the cash. I will get into that a little later.
But you know how much cash you gotta have.
Exactly,
Right, so it's not a surprise.
exactly. Okay, what is an option? An option gives the buyer, the person who buys the contract, the right but not the obligation to buy or sell a specific asset, in this case the stock, at a specific price, which is called the strike price, on or before a specific date, which is called the expiration date. So therefore, if the buyer has rights, the seller, the one, which is me, because I'm the one who sells the contracts, I'm the one who's selling the buyer this right. I have now obligations, which means I'm obligated to cover the stock should it fall. This means in stock example XYZ, I will be obligated to buy the stock if it falls below $19. Here's a real world example. Warning, this is for illustration purposes only. That means do not go up there on Monday and do this, okay? Are we clear? This is just for illustration purposes only because there's still a lot more you would have to learn that I'm not going to get into today. But I'm just giving you a general overview. Let's say I'm interested in owning shares of AOL. Okay? Now AOL is currently trading at $36.36 on Thursday, 10/18. Okay? That means at the end of the trading day on Thursday, this past Thursday, the stock was at $36.36. Now, I can buy 100 shares. Let's say I really like AOL. I want to own the stock. I can buy 100 shares and spend $3,636. $36.36 times 100 shares is $3,636. Or I can sell in November, which is the expiration month. That means next month, this contract would expire. $34 strike. Now, $34 is less than $36. So that means as long as the stock stays above $34, I win. And I will collect 65 cents per share. So let's say I sell one contract, how much did I collect? $65. Now once I pay off commission of say $5, because commission would cost me $5 in this example, I really make $60. That's how much I make. But let's just take out commission because depending on which broker you use, the commission structure is going to be different. So I really collect $65. That's how much that immediately comes into my account. So if I do this trade on Monday, $65 automatically comes into my account. Now I have to have, okay, so that means I will be obligated to buy AOL at $34. However, my cost basis, and I'll send anybody the PowerPoint presentation if you want it, and I can send it to you via email. However, my cost basis will be $34 minus the 65 cents that I received, which equals $33.35. So that's called my break-even price because that means if the stock is at $33.35, I don't make money, I don't lose money. But that's the price that I'm really buying the stock at. So as long as AOL stays above $33.35, I'm guaranteed to make money. Here's a screenshot below so you can see it. Okay? The stock symbol, AOL. The strike price of $34. You see the arrow. And the premium that I would collect is 65 cents. Okay. Notice the specific asset which is AOL. Okay? That's the asset. That's the stock. The specific strike, the specific price is $34. That's the strike price. And the specific expiration is November 17th. Now, options have contracts. Each contract is 100 shares of stock. So if I sell one contract on the $34 strike, I must have at least $3,400. Actually, I gotta have $33 and, so technically this is, I gotta have I have to have $3,335 in my account, okay? Or half of that if I'm trading on margin. I will not get into margin today. If I sell the $34 strike, I will collect 65 cents since each contract is 100 shares. I will collect $65 per contract that I sell. I can do anything I want with that money. Notice again the arrows. AOL is the asset, the stock. The strike price is $34. The premium is 65 cents. Notice here the expiration. It says 29 days until expiration. So that means I'm in this trade for at least 29 days. Now I can close out the trade early, but I'm not going to get into all of that. But for the maximum 29 days, I'm in this trade. Okay, benefits and drawbacks. The benefit is you can buy stocks at a discount, low cost of entry, okay? And I will get into that in a minute. Safe strategy that doesn't require leverage and can make money on a weekly, monthly, or longer time period. So that means you can make money on a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, however long you want, however long the contract lasts. Here's the drawbacks. The amount you collect is the maximum you can make on that specific trade. So that means in this AOL example, the maximum I can make is 65 cents. I can't make more than that, but I can make less. But I cannot make more than 65 cents. If you over leverage, which means you go over your cash and margin, you can lose a lot of money. Huh? Over leverage? Okay. Let's use real estate as an example. When you go to buy a house, what must you get? Or what do most buyers end up getting when they buy a house? A mortgage, which means the bank is loaning you money, right, to help you, to assist you in buying a house. Well, here's the beautiful thing with the stock market. The broker, he loans you margin, which is the equivalent to money, to help assist you to buy stock. So therefore, you don't have to have the full amount in your account. You can have half of the amount and the broker will cover the other half. So let me give you an example. Let's say I have $5,000 of cash in my trading account. The broker will also give me another $5,000. So that means I really have $10,000 to work with. Do you guys understand that? So I can buy up to $10,000 worth of stock. Now, what I mean by over leverage is, well, the broker will allow you to write over that obligation of $10,000. Let me give you a real world example. Last July, I had about $3,000 of cash in my account. The broker matched it with another $3,000, which means I had $6,000 of cash in my account. On one trade, I wrote $30,000 worth of obligation.
Yeah, how would they let you go that high with leverage?
They let me go that high. You know what you do when they'll let you go that high. Okay, which means I collected a lot more money. Okay, about $37,000 worth of obligation. Don't ask me how to do it. I was able to do it. Well, everything was going smooth until, remember when that announcement came out on Friday about the U.S. credit rating getting downgraded? Okay, when we went from a AAA to a AA or something like that. Well, the market tanked that Monday. Now, nothing happened to my stocks. Okay, my stocks were still going up, so I was never in any trouble. But the broker panicked and says, we're changing the margin requirements. So that means if you over leverage, you got to immediately come in with more cash ASAP. So they sent me a margin call. That's one of the worst things you can get as a trader, because that means come in with more cash right away, or we're going to close out your trade at a loss. So I called up the broker and I says, why am I getting this margin call? They says, well, we changed the margin requirement. I says, yeah, but if you look at my positions are safe and it's expiring that Friday. They says, we don't care, put more money. I said, God, I got to cover another $5,000. They asked for like another $5,000. So I was like, ooh, I don't have $5,000 to cover this. So what ended up happening was I did nothing. I said, I'm not going to do anything. Well, they closed out some of my shares. I took a $75 hit on it. But I actually collected $200, so in actuality, I still made money even though they closed out some of my shares. I still made money. But it was still a very scary experience because I never before that received a margin call. And they don't warn you that, oh, in a week we're going to be changing the margin requirements, because then I would have closed out some of my shares. They just immediately said, we're changing the margin requirements. And it caught me off guard. I was like, whoa. So, but the moral to the story, as long as you stay within your cash, you don't have anything to worry about. Just don't do what I did, which is go overboard. Now, another drawback to this strategy is you need a lot of money to trade high-priced stocks such as Apple and Google, etc. Because Apple is like a what, almost $700 stock. Okay, that's $700 per share times 100 shares. That's $70,000. Okay, you're going to need at least $35,000 just to trade one contract of Apple. Or roughly something like 35,000. So you need a lot of money to trade the higher price stocks using this strategy. Now, if you want to do that, there are other types of income strategies you can use, but I'm not getting into that today.
So what strategy are you talking about? Which, I know you're talking about options, but what particular strategy?
Writing puts. Okay. Rules for an enjoyable experience. Put writing can be a fantastic experience as long as you adhere to 3 rules. There are only 3 rules to this strategy. One, you must like the stock. In other words, don't do this on a stock you have no intention of owning. Okay? 2, you must like the stock at the strike price you pick, which means whatever price you pick, you must like the stock at that price, because there's always the chance that the stock can go below that price. 3, you must have the cash and or margin to buy the stock. And we're talking cash coverage, so that means you just have the cash in your account to buy the stock. Do that, it should be an enjoyable experience.
So question, what's the shortest contract you can have? A day, a week?
One week right now is the shortest. Now, it doesn't mean you have to hold it for the week. You can close it out anytime.
Yeah, but how will that affect my...
You just got to buy back the contract. So that means you will make less profit if you do that. Now, sometimes that's the more advisable thing, especially if you see a better opportunity. But we'll get into that later on. So in other words, if you only have $2,000 of cash in your account, don't write a strike price above $20 strike. The reason for this is in the event the stock falls below your strike price, you want to be able to afford to buy the stock. Okay? This strategy is a favorite of Warren Buffett and other professionals as well. Below is a screenshot of other people's real accounts, so you can see how successful other people are with this particular strategy. Okay. This one account, this here, this person has, if they were to close out their trade, they would have 137,000 in their account of cash. Okay, which means if they have 137,000 of cash, the broker gives them 137,000 of margin, so that you can buy a lot of stock. Okay, this person is averaging year to date, they've already made about, say, 31,000. Year to date means from January to now, they've already made 31,000. So 31,000 divided by 10 months is how much on average?
3,100 a month.
How much?
3,100.
3,100 a month. This person is making. Yeah, this person owns shares of NVIDIA stock. This person here has about $22,222. Okay? They're making a 32, right here it says a 33% return per year right now. They're doing 33% a year is pretty good. That means if they stop trading as of today, they made a 33% return this year. Okay, they're making, this person collected about $5,500 so far this year to date. Okay, that is the PowerPoint presentation. I want to call up somebody. Russell, can you come up for a second? Sure. He actually happens to be one of my few students that I actually teach this strategy to. I see you too. Yeah, he happens to be one of the few students that I actually teach this strategy to. And Russell, how long have you been trading, doing this strategy for?
8 months or something like that, 9 months.
9 months. Okay. What happened when you decided to change strategy and ignore what I told you to do?
I lost about 90% of my money. Not quite 90%. I lost about
70% actually.
Yeah.
70% of your money.
Yeah, so I went from like 5,000 down to about 50 or something, or 500 now.
No, it wasn't that low.
No, it was like $700 I lost.
No, you lost more than that. The account went down from about 5,500 to about 2,000 some change.
Right, yeah, something like
So you lost a pretty penny.
that. Yeah.
And why did you choose to change your strategy?
Because of a certain person that I listened to out in New Jersey named Ron Berg, who it turns out he's bankrupt. Anybody know Ron Berg? Anyone?
Now, what did I tell you during that whole process?
Careful who you listen to, and just take my advice.
I told you not to not only listen to him, but you have a financial plan, right?
Right.
What did I also tell you?
Don't listen to him. Just
Why did I tell you not to listen to your
pile
financial
of
plan?
money. Because he doesn't know the strategy.
Let me explain.
And
This financial planner, I'm assuming he makes a lot of money. He has clients with some money.
because I got a lot of money off of me too. Which
Yeah.
I don't like.
It's okay. You can go sit.
But then you get to move it out of here. I gotta talk to you about the thing inside that site.
Okay. Right. This financial planner is a guy who makes a lot of money because he gets a lot of money off his clients. And one day I told Russie do not tell the financial planner about this. The reason why is because predictable, they always tell you this strategy is very dangerous. The stock can go to zero. You know, this, that, and the other. One day I was supposed to be meeting Russell, it was on a Friday. I was going to be meeting him. And he calls me up, he said, hey, Jermaine, how you doing? I said, I'm doing good, and you? He said, good. I said, yeah, I'm on my way. He said, yeah, I'm on the phone with my broker, Bill. Or his financial planner, Bill. I said, oh, really? So Bill said, hey, Jermaine, how you doing? I said, well, I'm doing good. And you? He said, I'm good. He says, I hear you're teaching Russell about put option right, put right, put option right. I said, that would be correct. But did you tell him the dangers of it? I said, oh boy. I said, yes, I explained to him if he over leverages, he can get in trouble. Yeah, but it can be more than that. I says, what do you mean? He says, well, the stock can go to zero. I says, that's a possibility. I said, let me ask you something, Bill. Are you trading Russell's account? He says, yeah. I says, what strategy do you do? He says, oh, I do covered call writing. I says, okay, covered call writing. I says, okay, do anybody here not know what covered call writing is?
Not know.
Okay, it means you own the stock. Think of it this way. You own a rental property, and you rent out that property to tenants, and you collect monthly rent. Same thing with stocks. The only thing is you're renting out the stock instead of a property. That's what a covered call is. You're covering the stock. The call that you wrote covers the stock that you own. So think of it as a rental property, just with stocks. Anybody still confused?
Is that just buying the stock?
Right, you have the stock, you buy the stock, and then you write a call against it to bring in income, to reduce your cost basis in the stock. There are a lot of things you can do with stocks.
Okay.
Similar to what you can do with real estate, there are a lot of things you can do with stocks. So anyway, brokers do this because it's the safest strategy. Supposed to be the safest strategy out there. So I gave Bill this example. I said, okay, Bill, let's say you like Microsoft, right? He said, not Microsoft, I said McDonald's, because I always use this example. He says, okay. I said, let's say you really love McDonald's. He says, okay. Let's say McDonald's is trading at $20 a share. He says, okay. I says, all right. Obviously, since you do covered calls, that means you buy the stock at $20, right? He says, right. I says, then you go to write a call against it. I'm assuming, let's say, a $21 call, okay? Which means that he has to sell the stock at $21. If it goes up above $21 or so, he has to sell it at $21. So he says, okay, let's say you collect 50 cents. He says, okay. I says, what is your cost basis, Ron? Bill? He goes, well, $19.50. I says, okay, good. I says, now, if you own the stock, can't the stock still go to zero? He says, well, yeah. I says, okay, Bill, if the stock goes to zero, how much are you out? He says, well, $19.50. I says, good. So we understand each other so far, right? He says, yeah. I says, now, let's say now you bought the stock at $20, you wrote the call option to collect 50 cents, which means your cost basis is $19.50. However, me, I also like the stock, but I don't buy the stock at $20. I write the $19 call option, and I collect the same 50 cents. I says, Bill, what is my cost basis? He says, well, in that example, if the stock goes below $19, you have to buy the stock. I says, good. How much would I have to buy the stock at? He says, $18.50. I says, okay, you paid $19.50 for the stock. I would have to pay $18.50 for the stock. So I says, if the stock still went to zero, who came out ahead? Me, because I saved $1. So I says, covered call strategy, which is supposed to be so safe, I actually came up with a more conservative strategy than your covered call strategy. He said, oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay, Russell, do you want to do put writing? So when I saw Russell that day, I said, Russell, why did you I told you not to tell Bill about the strategy. Well, because he was only making me 8% on my money. I said, okay, Russell. And this was before he started trading. I said, Russell, and how much percent-wise are you making? He says, well, 0. I said, so why would you complain about an 8% return when you're making 0% return? See why I told you not to talk to him about it? I said, now had you waited, been successful with this, and let's say you was making a 15 or 20% return, then you can go to your broker and say, wait a minute, buddy, you're only making me an 8% return. What's going on here? You see what I'm saying? Now you have a leg to stand on. So then I told him, don't go telling anyone else about the strategy. Then he goes tell Ron Berg about the strategy. So I go, oh boy. So I get on the call, and Ron Berg goes, Jermaine, did you teach Russell about the strategy? I said, oh, Jesus. So I said right there on there, Russell, you're an idiot. What did I tell him to do? I called him right there on the webinar. You're an idiot. What did I tell you to do? Well, you told me not to tell anybody. I said, so why did you tell Ron Berg about this strategy? And I'm saying this, Ron Berg has seen everything. I said, Russ, you own a Toyota, right? He says, yeah. I says, would you take your Toyota, if it needs to be fixed, would you take it to a GM dealer? He goes, no. I says, why not? Because he doesn't specialize in Toyota. So then why are you taking this strategy to someone who doesn't specialize? So Ron Berg was like, no, you should be doing this strategy, Russell. So Russell shows, he says, so what do you think, Jermaine? I said, listen to Ron Berg. Then he went and lost about $2,000 to $3,000. And now he's crying, saying, I lost all this money, Jermaine. I said, see, this is what happens when you don't listen. Just do the strategy I told you. It's a simple, conservative strategy. Anybody can do this. We got one student, she's not a student of mine, but a student of another person. She doesn't even know what she's doing, and she still makes a 20% return. You ask her, well, how do you go about figuring this out? I don't know, I just follow directions. It's that simple. You follow directions, you can't help but make money with this strategy.
At least 20%, there you go.
Let me show you an actual account.
You can adjust your contract amount. It's either 150 cents or 65 cents. Is there some type of percentage that
No, I can choose which stock I want to do this on. I can choose how much I want to make. I can make that choice. See, I'll do an actual trade. I wasn't going to do this when I came in today, but I decided I'm going to try a little more. I'm going to do an actual trade for you guys to actually see. Now, I'm not going to do this in my real account. I'm going to do it in my virtual account. And that's another good thing about trading stocks. You can practice this virtually, which means you can be executing trades as if it's like if you have real dollars on the line, but you have no real dollars on the line, but they give you what is called virtual money. It's no money, but it's just pretend money. So that's the good thing about this. You can practice your trade, your craft, before you put real money on the line. You can do this in your IRA. You can do this, there are a lot of ways you can do this. Yes, you can do this self-directed, and that's the thing. If you got an IRA, my advice is, and this is the only free advice you guys get today, get your money away from these brokers. They don't know what they're doing. They're not going to do this strategy. They're going to do the simple covered call strategy. Not that the covered call is a bad strategy. It isn't. It isn't a bad strategy, but they're not very creative. And not only that, they like to get you into these mutual funds. Now, what's the problem with mutual funds? Anybody know?
You only pick from mutual funds that
Okay, that's problem number one, sir.
they're not really high yield.
That's another problem, but there's even a bigger problem.
I was going to say, what's the problem with annuities?
No, hold on. I don't want him to answer, because I know he knows the answer. Sorry. You just look like you know the answer.
I know the answer to everything, it just looks like it.
But there is a bigger problem with mutual funds or 401ks. There is a real big problem. Do anybody know? What do you mean by that?
well, your options are limited.
That is true.
I just actually switched mine over. But yeah, your options are limited.
Right,
So
but
you can't,
how does, I mean, in other words, in order to make money in a mutual fund, what direction must the stocks or stocks go up? The market must go up. But as we see, the market can go up, it can go down, and it can go sideways. You make no money if the market goes sideways. You make no money if the market goes down. You only make money if the market goes up. Have anybody heard of a guy by the name of John Bolden?
John
Bolden.
Bolden.
He is the founder of Vanguard. Am I correct? Vanguard. He's the founder of mutual funds. Here's what he said, and you can look this up. I'll send you guys the article. The guy says, well, how much money can you make with mutual funds? He says, well, the answer is very interesting. He says, you, the investor, put up 100% of the money, you take 100% of the risk, and you only get 20% of the reward. While the mutual fund company puts up 0% of the money, takes 0% of the risk, and yet gets 80% of the profits. So even if the mutual fund goes up, it's still cutting into your gains. This is why it's best to trade, learn how to trade yourself. Because that's the problem with mutual funds in a nutshell. Now, I'm going to log into my account real quick. Okay. Now, I rarely use my virtual account because I usually just trade with real dollars. And, matter of fact, let me log into my real account first. Notice year to date, I'm making about a 12% return. If you see right here, the nice green numbers, 12% return. So that means if I did no more trades this year, and I closed out this account, I would have made a 12% return this year. To me, I consider that a small return. Just me. But it's still not bad for the average individual. But when you know what you know, 12% is kind of small. Now, in my virtual account, I'm making a 30% return year to date. Now, obviously, I don't have enough in my virtual account to do a trade on Apple, so I'm not going to trade Apple, but I'm going to pick a stock. Matter of fact, I'm going to pick silver, SLV. Because remember the girls sitting next to you talking about commodities? You can do this with commodities as well. Okay? SLV is the ETF of silver. So that means whatever happens to silver is going to happen to this ETF as well. Okay? SLV. Okay? Right now, silver is trading at $31.09. Now, I'm going to show you in less than 3 minutes how I make money. It's real simple. I click on this option tab. Okay. Notice, and I want you guys to all come in real quick so you can see this. There's some red letters here and numbers. Up here at top. What does this say? October 28th. That's next Friday. No, not next Friday. Hold on.
Next Saturday.
October 26th, next Friday. Yeah. October 26th is next Friday. So that means I can write a contract to expire for next week. Okay? And I'm going to do that. I'm going to write a contract to expire for next week, and then I'm going to write a contract to expire for next month. So you will see the difference. Now, the stock is trading, or the ETF is trading at what price? 31.09. This $29, I'm going to do that's too small. I'm going to do the $30 strike, which means if the stock falls to $30, or the ETF falls to $30, I will be obligated to buy silver at $30. Here it says 12 cents. So that's how much I can collect, 12 cents. So I would just simply click on that, trade, SLV, sell. Notice that, can you read what it says right?
Sell SLV, October 26th, $30.
Good. Sell SLV, October 26th, $30. Now before I sell it, resell. Tell me, do I own any shares of SLV? In the positions? No, I don't own shares of SLV, but I can still sell something I don't own. That's the beautiful thing about it. You can sell something you don't own. So I just click on the options tab. Does it sell SLV? Actually, I'm going to do the $30.50. Because I can collect for 20-something cents. I can collect 21 cents. I'm going to change this from a limit to a market. And I'm not going to get into all this today, but market just means fill me in at whatever the price is when the market is holding on Monday. Just get me into the trade. I'm going to sell one contract. Let's click preview. It says I'm able to place this trade with the given parameters. Okay, I'll receive $21 minus $5 of commission, which means I'll receive a total of $16. Click place order. And we'll click state, we'll go to check. Okay, that's how simple it takes. Took a few minutes. This contract now expires next week. If silver stays above $30.50, I made money. I just made $12.
Why is it sell and not buy?
Because again, I'm selling something I don't own. I'm selling first. Like for instance, let me see your phone for a second. Okay. Let's say I want to buy your phone for $300.
Right.
Let's say it's worth,
600.
no, let's say it's worth $350.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to say to you, what's your name again?
Kevin.
Kevin. Now, let's say your phone's worth $350. I want to buy your phone for $300. So I'm going to give you the right to sell me that phone for $300. So that means if it drops, it falls. Let's say it breaks. It might be worth nothing, yet I will still be obligated to buy it at $300. You understand so far? Well, you're getting it because you look kind of confused right now.
I already own it, so how you
You
giving me
still
the
own it.
right to sell it?
But I'm just writing a contract. It's a
Okay.
legal contract.
So who am I getting it from? The market when
Yes.
I sell it?
No, the market is taking the other side of the order. There's going to always be someone on the other side of the order.
Okay.
You don't need to know who it is. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But in this case, it's a transaction between you and me.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going to sell you this contract, okay?
All right.
Now, you have $1, you got to pay me $1 up front.
Okay.
I put that $1 in my pocket, okay? Now, this contract is valid until when?
Oh, until 26.
Till 26th of October.
Right.
So that means tomorrow you go out, you party, you have your strip club, and drop your phone and it breaks, and the man says it's not worth nothing, you can come back to me and say, Jermaine, we agreed.
So when I go to the market to sell something that I don't own, they're giving me money,
Yes,
and I'm
you
and
are
I'm
obligating yourself
obligated till Friday.
until Friday.
So I hold that money till Friday.
No, it's still your money. It's your money to keep.
Okay.
You're just agreeing to buy the item,
Okay.
or the asset in this case, but it's still your money to keep.
And
You're just going to use part of those proceeds to buy the item if you have to.
if the stock doesn't move, I keep the money.
You still keep the money.
And what has to happen? The stock has to drop before I lose the money?
Yes, it has to fall below the price you agreed. That you
So I
said.
never give, you never give that money back to me.
No,
You just have to buy the phone now.
I just got to buy the phone.
Okay, I got you.
See how that
I
works?
got you. All right.
We call it legalized stealing
So
Right.
why does he have to give you $1?
because
That's the
I'm
insurance.
taking the risk.
He's the insurer.
I'm the insurer. I'm insuring you.
Okay.
I'm taking the risk that I might have to buy his phone at a much higher price than what it's
So
really
like
worth.
me paying the insurance company.
Exactly.
But with this strategy though, you would, in this particular case, if you want to play it safe, right, you would have to make sure that you had $300 available.
Exactly.
Because that phone break and now you have to buy it, you need to be able to come up with $300.
Exactly.
But if you don't have it,
Well, that could be a problem.
you're taking a chance.
Well, that's what
But
insurance
if they come after you now and you don't have it, well, now you're in trouble.
Now you can be in trouble. That's why I said,
So
make
that's a
certain,
risk involved.
make certain you have the
Well, it's not
cash.
leverage, it's not over leverage, it's just, you gotta have that cash on hand.
Just make certain you have the cash.
So as long as you got the cash, you can take the chance.
You can take that chance.
Anything more than that, I mean, if you don't have the cash, then
Then
you're playing with fire,
you're playing with fire.
you might come out on top,
You might,
but you can still lose.
but you can lose.
But you win big.
Huh?
You win big.
But then you can also win big.
Well, you,
But you
so
taking
the
the chance.
the $1.
It's real simple. I'm not talking about naked put right in
No,
here
but
to
when he sells him the contract, that dollar is the most he can make from that contract.
Right.
Exactly.
Unless he over leveraged another
No, even still $1 is the most I can make. But what I can do is I can write him a contract, write you a contract. Yeah, I only still got $300. So let's say you all drop your phones. I got to cover each of them, but I only got $300. That's a problem.
Exactly. You would have to have $900.
Exactly. But what I do, and this is why I said I don't advise you guys to do this, I will write all you guys' contracts, yet I only have the money to cover for one individual. That's called over leveraging.
So you're taking a gamble that you'll get to keep our.
Exactly. No one drops their phone and I keep everything I collected. So I collected $1 from each of you guys.
When you over leverage, you're doing it on the margin, you're using margin money.
No, I'm going past the margin. So let's say I say to buy your phone for $300. Let's say I have the $300. The bank or the broker in this case will give me $300 more. So that's $600. So that means I can really cover for 2 people.
Cover two.
But I'm writing for 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14 people.
And
So you're like,
The broker will let me
they'll
do
let
it.
you do that.
They will let me do that.
They're lending you the money.
But they're lending me only for one extra person.
So
But they're allowing
the
me
other
to-
money is fake money.
No, I would call it fake money. That's an ugly term. I would just call it creative. Just be a little creative.
But someone's extending you credit.
No,
Because you would have to get them out.
I gotta come up with the money if you all drop your phones.
They're just taking a
Yes,
risk.
yes, come on.
No, but I mean, on the computer, they have to, the money has to come up on paper on the computer.
Right, no, here's what happens. Let's say you dropped your phone.
Yep.
Let's say Stacy dropped her phone. Now the broker knows I wrote all these people
Right.
contracts. They'll send me a message that says, well, Jermaine, 2 people already dropped their phones, come up with more money.
Right. Okay.
They'll already start sending, matter of fact, they'll even probably do it, yeah. So 2 people drop their phone, come up with more money.
Right.
That's what they'll do.
Okay.
If they don't, if I don't come up with more money, then they close out all these contracts, but I gotta now pay for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
See the risk?
You're not advising us to do that.
No. In other words, if you got $600, in this case, if you got $600, just write 2 contracts. Or if you got $300, just write 1 contract. Don't use the margin. The margin is just there. It's a nice thing to have, but it's not always advisable to use it.
So what, I mean, I know you didn't get it. Why do you prefer, like, writing puts versus, cover calls?
Here's why. I still do cover calls after I get put into stock, but I'll just get it at a much lower price. So in this example, remember the McDonald's example. Why should I buy the stock today at $20 if I can buy it a month from now at $19?
Can I interject? He began the presentation talking about cash flow, positive cash flow coming into you, negative cash flow, or negative cash flow going out. If I do a covered call strategy, I got to pay money first for the stock and bring in a small premium for the call I'm writing. If I just sell a put option, I'm seeing money in, and the money, if I need to cover that obligation, is at expiration, whether it's a week or a month from now. I'd rather pay the money a month later than today.
Right, this is what we've been talking about. Dwayne been talking about positive cash flow. Seek positive cash flow investments. That's what this is. A very good positive cash flow investment.
So
This
what
is
about writing call, not covered calls, but writing a call versus